Hi, my name is Dan Pontefract, and this is my Leading Remote Teams series where I talk about 10 specific actions I think leaders need to take as their teams move to work from home. This particular episode is conducting team meetings. Now, I have led virtual teams since the year 2002, so I've got about 18 years of experience conducting team meetings across different time zones, different countries, and certainly different cities. Here are some of my tips. First of all, you gotta use a technology. Con calls is not an option only. You've gotta pick one. Now, in another episode I talk about technologies. They can be Zoom, it could be Skype for Business, Google Hangouts, WebEx, I don't care. Just pick one. Pick one and use it. The reason being is that you need people to put on their webcams. You've been used to having face-to-face meetings for however long. You go into a meeting room and you're like, hey Sally, hey Jimmy, hey Sandeep, how are you? Well, that's not happening anymore. You're gonna miss body language, facial expressions, laughing, smiling, tearing, and you need it. So, pick a technology and then get everyone to use their webcams, presuming they have the technology at home from a webcam, laptop enabled, or a PC or a Mac or what have you. I'm assuming they do, and if not, get them the technology. Number 3 is, when you're having these meetings, use PowerPoint or whatever you choose, Google presentations, and have slides ready there to sort of take you through the agenda. Now, the reason you have the slides there is not to talk to the slides, but to keep everybody honest as to where you are in those particular slides. That's important because otherwise people aren't sure where the meeting's going because again, they're just looking for direction. So I would say use slides as a way in which to keep you focused as the leader in where you are in the agenda of a meeting, forcing you to also set an agenda for the meeting. Now in the meeting itself, if you're using the software that I alluded to, use the chat or the Q&A functions that are typically built in. Because sometimes what's going to happen is you're going to have some people who are a little bit afraid or maybe shy to speak up, even if their webcam is on. They're just afraid, whatever. So don't denigrate, don't necessarily say that's a bad idea. Engage the team by using the chat function. That means, sadly, you're going to have to be doing 2 things at once, but you're a leader, you can handle it. And as well, you could ask people to log questions into the Q&A function of the web meeting technology so that at the end of the meeting, when it's say, you've had a 30-minute meeting, you last 10 or 15 minutes for question and answers, there's a list there. And again, you can encourage people to have dialogue and follow up on the question they put into the chat or the question function, but that's what you're doing, okay? That's important. Now, more often than not, what happens is the webcams are on, but they haven't muted their microphones. They haven't muted the phone if you're using that technology still. And invariably, you're going to get lawnmowers, you're going to get maybe the dog barking, you're going to get the home phone if they still have one going off, right? There's just a lot of distractions. So unless it's a point in the meeting in which that you're looking for verbal contact from everybody and verbal expression, get people to put their phones or their computers, their microphones on mute. It's just annoying. So be upfront about that, and it's just kind of what I call a meeting norm. Now, even though they may have some shy people or scared people to speak, I still find it important to call out people. Not like, in a negative or embarrassing way, but just, little tips like, hey, Jennifer, what did you think about that particular client issue? Or, hey, Michael, is this something that you experienced in the past? Again, when you're face-to-face, it's a lot easier, obviously, but when you're virtual, you're going to have to do a better job of engaging with folks into the meetings so that their voice is heard. And then one of the other things I love doing is ending with a story. So the story could be client-based, it could be maybe public sector, municipal-based, if that's what you're in. It could be personal, it could be involving one of your team members, it could be involving the organization. Just have something that's connecting the dots, not necessarily to the meeting, but a way in which for the team to see that there's more going on, right? It's not just about the check-in meeting, the team meeting that we've just had, but it's something else, right? And maybe it's current events. given the fact that we're all working from home, maybe you can bring in, good news stories of things that have happened in people's recuperation, let's say, of COVID-19, or something that has to do with the elephant in the room, which is we're having a virtual meeting because we're no longer allowed to work at the office because there's a pandemic. Well, it's a good time to share something that's touching, maybe feeling-wise, and feel-good stories. So that's what I do. Now, out of all of these kind of conducting team meeting suggestions that I have for you, I think they're pretty easy. But at the end of the day, as I said in another episode, you're going to want to also conduct a team norm. How long are these meetings supposed to be? Maybe they should be more frequently. That's something that you're going to want to do to ensure that the team knows that it can meet formally, but maybe there's ways in which for the team meetings to happen without you and kind of informally as a team. That's also something you want to discuss as part of your team norms exercise. With that, that's the end of another episode of Leading Remote Teams. I'm Dan Pontefract. Thanks for watching.